Today's daily recap is for Friday, December the 6th, 2024, Friday. Okay, see, still no internet, so I'm doing this on my phone. Ava, the verdict is in, and guess what, everybody? Ava is found not guilty. Rick did it, and Christina was just sitting there. So the judge says, let you know you're found not guilty, Mr. Rome. You are free to go. She stands up. She hugs Rick, and is happy. And Sonny says, Christina, because he was sitting behind her. Sonny and TJ were sitting in the second row. Christina, Ava, Molly was sitting in the front row. And TJ stands up, and he is headed out the courtroom. Molly jumps up and says, TJ, and she's running after TJ. And Alexis is looking at Christina. Christina, honey, Christina. And Sonny's like, Christina, Christina, and Christina's just this. Just like in shock, not saying anything. And so Sonny and Ava Sonny and Alexis were trying to get through to Christina to get her to like come here and be present versus just, right? So she finally looks at her mother and she goes, that's it? And because the judges said that you can never be retried for this again, right? And she goes, Ava gets away with killing my baby? And Ava says, that's it, honey. And Christina looks straight. And she stands up. Now, meanwhile, Molly gets a hold of TJ outside. And she goes, TJ, I'm so sorry. I know you're upset. I am so sorry that this went. He goes, oh, okay. Tell me, Molly, how do you feel? And she said, well, this was an accident. It was a tragic accident. I believe that, Christina, yes, she did go to Ava's room, and they did get into it, and I despise Ava. She says, yes, Ava grabbed Christina's arm. She said, but Christina tripped over the duffel bag and fell out the window. Ava did not push her. So I feel the verdict was just. It was an accident. She goes, no, Molly. Not how you feel about the verdict. How are you feeling right now? And she looked at him. She goes, I'm feeling like justice was served because it was an accident. And TJ said, you know what? Well, I'm glad you could rationalize that. And I'm glad you could feel that. And he stormed out of there. And she's like, oh, TJ, leaning kind of against the wall. Now, mind you, now Christina's coming out of, she heard that last part, that I'm glad you got what you wanted, at least you got what you wanted, because Molly said, I feel justice is served. So Christina says, what did he mean by you got what you wanted? And Molly looked at her. She goes, you know what, Christina? I can't. And she goes, no, I want to know, what did he mean? So Molly looked at her. She goes, what he meant was, I feel it was an accident, Christina. I feel that. I feel Ava didn't push you out that window. And so she says, now, yes, it's easy to find someone to blame, and you want someone to blame. She says, and you know what? For months now, I blamed you because I told you not to go over there. So she goes, well, now at least, yeah, I know you do. She goes, I told you not to go there. She said, but you know what, Christina? You went. You didn't go with the intention on putting the baby at risk. She goes, Ava pushed me. She's responsible. She goes, you know what? Nobody was in that room but you and her. She goes, but yet you're choosing to believe Ava over me. You are choosing to do that. And Molly says, no. I'm choosing to look at the facts, Christina, the facts. And the facts, the way they're laid out, the facts, the way it seems and looks, is that it was an accident. I'm done with the hatred. I'm done with the anger. I'm done with blaming. I'm trying to move forward. I'm just trying to get through this. I've lost so much. I've lost my sister. I've lost my baby. I've lost, she was going to say TJ, but she didn't say that to Christina, because see, Christina would be, well, see, that's why I wanted to keep Adela. Because I knew you and TJ, come on, Christina. No. So Christina says, no, no, no. See, how you could take her side? She goes, well, you want to know how you could take her side, Molly? You could take her side because you were never Adela's mother to begin with. And Molly looked at her, and Alexis and Sonny had just walked out the courtroom right as Christina said that. And Alexis says, Molly, she's wanting to go after Molly because she knew what Christina said. That just cut her to her soul, right? And so as Alexis got to where Christina was, she looked at Christina, and Christina was just looking straight ahead. See, Christina was just like, and I'm not sorry, and I'll say what I want to say, and I'll cause as much destruction. See, that's Christina. Now, the scene ended there, but what Alexis should do is keep going right past Christina and go to Molly. Head for Molly, right? Let Christina's daddy, who's pumping vengeance in her ear, to deal with her, right? That's what should happen. But we shall see. We'll see if Alexis still stands there and lets poor Molly, all distraught, leave. Now, in the courthouse room, before they came out, Ava went straight to Sonny and said, Sonny, I want to come by and get Avery tonight. The trial is over. It's been too long, and I want to see my daughter. And he's like, that is not happening. Not now, Ava. She goes, no, Sonny, we have shared visitation right now. And I'm not going to let you keep me from my daughter. And I want to see her. And Rick, he roosters up. You are not going to keep a mother away from her daughter. See, that's your problem, Sonny. And the way all your others, he said something about his parenting. Avery needs to be taken away from him as soon as possible. And Alexis looked at Rick and she goes, if you have any kind of self-respect and decency, you won't talk about parenting. And you'll stay out of it, Rick. I'm her attorney. It is my job to be in it. And so Ava looked at Sonny. She said, Sonny, you know what? Do not tell me Avery's not asking to see her mother. Don't tell me Avery hasn't told you how much she misses me. Because no matter how you feel about me, Sonny, you know I love my daughter and you know she loves me. And I am going to see my daughter. And so Rick says, I could file an injunction to have that child removed from you tonight. And Alexis says, Rick, I said, stay out of it. Like, that ain't gonna fly. It would never fly, right? You're a criminal. Ava's a criminal. So it's a wash there. She got a criminal for her mama and a criminal for her daddy, right? So Sonny says, because it's cut to another scene, comes back, he says, you know what? You could come by and you could see Avery tomorrow at my house, and I'm going to be there to supervise. And Rick says, oh, absolutely no supervise. And Ava puts her hand on Rick's chest, and she looks at him like, hey, right? It's about me, not you, Rick, because Rick is making it all about him. She goes, I'll be there, Sonny. My whole thing, everybody, when is the medication tampering going to come up? Do you think, Jason, because Sonny doesn't know, Ava had the pharmacist turn it into placebos. He knows about Valentine cutting the dose, but he doesn't know about Ava and the placebos. I'm hoping, everybody, that that's a bombshell at the custody hearing. That's what she did. And I'm also hoping, oh no, we don't want it to be, because remember when little Donna took all them pills? Because Avery grabbed Sonny's? How his medicine was where that child could grab him, I don't know. So see, that might hurt Sonny, that whole incident, because you mean you don't keep your medication locked up? Right? So we'll see how it happens and how it comes out. But Jason knows what Ava did. And actually, you know what? It doesn't have to, the whole Donna situation doesn't have to come up, because they still have the pharmacist on Sonny's Island. They will have that pharmacist testifying. And that pharmacist can say what Ava did. And I think that would be the most damage. I really, really do. I'm hoping they go that way with that. Because, see, that pharmacist is out of sight, out of mind. Ava's not thinking one bit about changing the meds to placebos. Hey, that ain't nothing. Wait, what meds? When did I do that? Because, see, you have to slap her in the face with what she did with Morgan. Because she, no, that was too long ago. Did I do that? Was that me? Yeah, Ava. So, Trina is disappointed. Kai was starting to do good work, turned in some stuff, so I guess she was happy with some of the work he had done. And the way she goes, I love the way you threw in this artist with that. I loved how you did that. I don't think he did it. I think you all are right about the illiteracy story that they may go with. Because for him to be that new with art, for him to turn in whatever she was saying that was so good, he wouldn't have been able to, if you ask me. So he was saying how he's got, this week is really busy. He's got a bunch of interviews he's got to do, and he's got to really train. He can't finish the project with her, and she's upset. She says, this is my final grade. She's like, class is almost over for the semester. You know, they're going to be going to winter break. He goes, no, if I talk to the teacher, she will give us an extension on the project. She says, that's not the point. She'll give you the extension because you're Kai Taylor. Of course, she'll bend over backwards. I just happen to be your partner. I won't get the attention that I deserve with this project. I will be the afterthought for the extension for you. Trina was like, no, it ain't going down like that, because I'm going to do some great work. She goes, this was like, I went through some bad things last year. And the only reason I'm back at PCU this year It's because of this art instructor. They're supposed to be like world renowned. So it's important to me that I finish my projects on time, that I put my best work in. He goes, we can record it and they can watch it at, anytime they want. She goes, that's not how it works. A recorded project is not going to get me the best grade I can get for myself. So he goes, well, I'm sorry you're mad. And she goes, I'm not mad, just disappointed. Because I thought there for a minute you had convinced me you did really want to be in that class. He goes, well, I did want to be in the class. But here's the thing. I'm an athlete. I'm the one who could bring this school recognition it hasn't ever had. So many things are lying on my feet. He says, you have opened up my eyes to art, but art's not my world. And Trina says, see, and that's the difference between you and I. Art is my world, and I love it. And I'm passionate about it. And so she goes, okay, you know what? I understand. You can't be there. You can't do it. Then just give me your notes. And this is where I really saw it in his face. What notes? She goes, just give me the notes that you have. I will put the whole project together myself. And he just looked at her. And I thought, you don't have any notes. Whoever's working on that project that did whatever they did, they're the ones that know about the project, right? Or the topic. And they're the ones with notes. So he just looked at her and he looked at his phone. I gotta go. I'm late for a meeting with my coach. I'm sorry, Trina. And Trina just, well, I'm sorry too. And she goes stomping off to the back, right? And he just looks sad, like, oh no. Now, they need to still be true to the story. The story is, this man is I don't know sports, is a Division I, A1 draft pick, whatever you call him, top in the nation. He's not going to do a complete 180 from a career that he's trained his whole life. He started when he was 5, probably in, is it basketball? What sport is he in? Yikes. I think he plays football. He's just kiddie football. I don't know. Everybody in comment corner, is it football or basketball? I'm kind of thinking it was basketball, but isn't it football this time of the year? Anyway, so he would not, for a pretty young girl, now just throw off everything, blow it off for this art class. Don't write it that way, because that's not realistic. Nor do we want to see that. Nor do we want to see it at all. So let it stay true to the career, and his sports come first, realistically. Let's see, Brad overhears. Lucas got picked to go to Miami with 5 other doctors at GH. It's some cutting edge technology. And it's in Miami. And Brad was always lurking around corners. He heard Brad telling Liz, and he's happy about going, excited about going. And not Brad, Lucas was telling Liz. So Brad, him, he's thinking, I want to go. Now Stella and him had a heart-to-heart talk, and Stella was saying, you know what? Stop focusing on getting Lucas back. You focus on being the best you can be, right? So Brad delivers some lab results to Portia, and she goes, you don't have to hand deliver results to me. As a matter of fact, I'd prefer you didn't, right? And so he goes, well, no, I really wanted to deliver these to you because I wanted to propose something to you. She says, what? She goes, I'm busy. She goes, it'll just take a minute. She says, what? He goes, there's this new whatever field the symposium is in, and This case, this lab results that I'm giving you, the results could have been completed faster and more thorough if I could go to the symposium or the conference and I could get that knowledge. She says, it's for doctors, Brad. He goes, no, but there's other medical professionals that could benefit from this. I'll even pay my own way, but it would make me a better lab technician. She goes, and Stella had just walked down the corridor and she was going to go in another door, but she's stopping and she's hearing the way Portia's talking down to Brad. She goes, no, let's call it what it is. You found out somehow that Lucas is going, and now you want to go. You want to use this as a personal way to try to reconnect with Dr. Jones. Well, that's not what this is for. Nor does he need to be distracted. She was right in what she was saying, realistically. Lucas, if she says that I'm going to send Brad, Lucas would say, well, you know what? I'll pass. Or I don't need the distraction, right? So she says, no, you go ahead and do the job you've been doing, because the answer is no. And Brad just says, well, thank you so much, Dr. Robinson, and he walks off. So Portia turns to walk away, and she's in the direction of Stella, and Stella says, you know you're wrong. I think you're wrong. She goes, about what? She goes, the way you talk to Brad. And she goes, what do you mean? Brad, this, that, and Brad can't be trusted. Brad this, Brad that. She goes, then why was he allowed to come back and work for this hospital, Portia? And what kind of work has he done since he's been back? Has it been substandard? And Portia says, no, it's been top notch. She goes, you do know he went to prison and he served his time, right? Even though he got out early, but who doesn't get out early, right? And so Portia said, yes. She goes, so Portia, I need you to think professionally, because right now you when it comes to Brad, you don't think professionally, nor do you act professionally towards him, speaking to him even around others. And Portia just looked. She goes, yeah, but what he did with Wiley and passing, she goes, yes, Brad. That's when Stella said, yes, he did all that, but he's paid for that. He did time in prison for all of that. And then in my mind, and this had nothing to do with you, chick. He didn't pass the baby off on hospital time. Yeah, right? So anyway, Brad is back in the lab, and he's thinking of blackmailing Portia, of course, with the results to get what he wants. He goes, okay, now I can pressure her into me going. He goes, or do I shred it? So he put it in the shredder, but he couldn't quite push it in the shredder to shred those results. Come on, he's got them on the cloud and on a flash drive. But he had the printed copy to give him to her, right? And he goes, if I'm to be a better man, then I cannot blackmail her into letting me go. He goes, but I could try to give her one more try, right? So he decided, I guess he was going to talk to her again. Well, Portia walks into the lab, and Portia says, you know what, Brad, you're an excellent lab technician. You're excellent at your job, and I've rethought my decision. You made a valid point how the knowledge you can gain would only enhance our lab from, going to this symposium. Yes, you can go. And Brad was shocked. He goes like, what? Why, thank you. He was surprised he didn't have to blackmail her. to get her to say yes. But we'll see what happens when Lucas finds out. We shall see, right? Now, let's talk a little bit. The last part is Lois. Deception's not doing quite as well on Home and Heart as it used to. And as a matter of fact, they needed to hit 76,000 in sales on that segment in order for Home and Heart to keep them as a reoccurring company. And because things have just been slow, and Brooklyn's like, yeah, and Lois hadn't been her lowest self, because look, the makeup girl says, you know what, we're so happy, you know, to have you here doing your segments. You sound so much better now that you're sounding professional. And it was like a little dig at Lois, like, now that you ain't sounding like you got a Brooklyn accent. And Lois was just sitting there like, so that's what's needed, you know. But they had really discussed the numbers, that no, numbers have been lagging, and nobody really looked and understood why are sales dropping. So Lucy wasn't there, because Maxie said, no, I talked Lucy into hitting social media, making sure people tune into Home and Heart to watch Lois. Okay, watch Lois. Well, 40 minutes into the segment, sales were not where they should be. Brooklyn's and Maxie were like, oh no. And Hayden's trying to spice things up. And so as Lois is talking, she's still talking in her professional voice. Hayden kind of steps up to the side because the camera's focused on Lois, and she says, look, I like you guys. And they're like, and we like you. They're like featuring you on Home and Heart. And we love being here. But if Lois doesn't hit her numbers today, sorry, this is your last show. And she steps back on the stage with Lois, and she's talking, and they're like, oh no. So Maxie said, do you think we should tell Lois? And Brooklyn says, no, because for some reason, Ma, something's going on with her. So no, we shouldn't put this pressure on her. Well, Lois's girlfriend that she knew from a teenager called in and pretty much read her the riot act about how now she's changed who she is, don't know who, you know, forgetting where she came from, and blah, blah, blah. And Lois is like, no, I haven't. She goes, yeah, now that you've been living with those fancy smancy Quartermains, you talking like them too, and just blah, blah, blah. So it made Lois feel bad, and Lois snapped out of it, and that Brooklyn broad came out of her. You could take the broad out of Bensonhurst, but you can't take Bensonhurst out of the broad. Oh, she clicked that accent, her natural accent, right back on. And she started selling that product, and she was pretty much selling to her friend. She goes, look, I know you're busy and you need this, that, and the other. That's why this is going to work for you, and blah, 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 and her friends. And now that's the Lois Cirillo we know and love. You go, Lois, you go. Within that last 20 minutes, they sold triple the product that they did in the first 40. So much so that they far surpassed the $76,000 in sales. So when it was over, Hayden came over to them and said, I look forward to having y'all back. You know, and she told Lois, she goes, and welcome back, Lois. We missed you. And so Maxie said, I'm not going to be the one to tell Tracy that she was wrong about Lois's accent. And Brooklyn is looking like, ooh, like, oh yeah, somebody got to tell her, right? So that was it. That was cute. And finally, Lois dissed the accent. So, all right, everybody, that's it. Can't do Comic Corner. And no pictures, but I will later this weekend be able to put a thumbnail up for this picture. And I don't even know if I can do my SEO. There's a lot that I don't have prepared to do here. But I'll be back on Monday with another daily recap of General Hospital.